Woohoo! And welcome to Ask the Expert. Ask the Expert comes from the Authors and Speakers Visibility Playground. We have this phenomenal group where we get together even on Thursdays and we give referrals to each other and we help each other with challenges with our business. What do I do next? How do I do that? It's really wonderful to have a powerful group surrounding you so that you aren't feeling alone. I know so many entrepreneurs really feel alone, and particularly now because we're doing the virtual thing all the time. And when we're doing the virtual thing, we can't be in everybody else's company unless we're 6 feet away and wearing a mask. So I thought that it would be fun to just talk about what it is that people are doing now. And the person that I'm bringing on, my guest today, she is all about this. And she has many groups. And I think she could tell you what other people are thinking and how they are interacting in their networking group. And like I said, I have the one on Thursday that's virtual. And pretty much everybody, I think, has moved to virtual. So I want to introduce you to this lovely, lovely guest. I've had her on the show, as I said once before. And, just 3 years ago, she was in corporate America. She was an employee. She wasn't an entrepreneur like so many of the rest of us. I've been an entrepreneur for 28 years. Can you believe that? That is such a long time. And that means that as entrepreneurs, we have to make our money ourselves. We don't have somebody giving us a paycheck every week, right? Well, and the big problem that we have as entrepreneurs is our income goes up and down. We're never really quite sure about how much we're going to make in any given month. But if we are consistent and we persistently plant seeds, and that's what we do in networking groups, then and only then can we have a fairly consistent income. But then also you have to have a really good foundation on which to stand, and that's your business and the programs that you share with others. So let's talk to Melody Page Ferry. I'll bring her on right away, and we will talk about what it is that her networking groups are doing. Hi, Melody. I'm so glad you're with us today. Thank you for taking the time on this wonderful Friday.
Thank you. It is always a pleasure to sit here and just chat with my girlfriend. So I so appreciate you. And I love that. I love that we get a chance to speak pre-meeting, so we can have our time. So that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And Melody is a part of our mastermind and referral group. And she's the only one that has networking groups in it, which is pretty awesome. And so more and more people are getting to know her and they'll start becoming a part of her group. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your target market? This is what I always ask if you don't mind, I'd like to just take you through the questions that I ask the people that actually put this together as far as networking groups, because I want entrepreneurs to know what to ask so that they make sure that they're in the right group. I can't tell you how many wrong groups I've been in, right? So the first question I ask is, what is your demographic? Who attends your meetings?
Oh, Lord. So in order to answer that question, I need to let you know what my thoughts are about networking. Mm-hmm. So I believe that networking groups, listen, they all work. And I liken them to diet plans. They all work, but you have to find one that works for you, right? Because, keto works. People have lost hundreds of pounds on keto, but maybe some other person, if you don't like meat, it's probably not going to work for you, right? So that you have to liken it to that. So I think the first thing for you to be successful in networking is to know the kind of group that you're looking to be involved in. Like if you want a group that's high accountability, there are groups out there that you can go into that will keep track of your referrals, they'll keep track of your one-to-ones, they'll keep track of you and your attendance, right? Mm-hmm. So those are great. If you want a little bit less, you want more flexibility in your schedule, there's tons and tons of just fly, everywhere you turn, I feel like everybody's opening up a networking group and, not taking attendance or not counting referrals or not getting involved with the members. So you really have to figure out where on the scale, where you want to be. Do you want to be high accountability, high flexibility? Like where is it, right? So with Net 2.0, we focus on education and motivation. So we are a business networking group, and to be sure, you will get referrals in our group. However, we rise by lifting others, right? So that's what our slogan is. And we attract people that are interested in gaining new relationships to help them in their business, whether that be getting people to help them with referrals or getting new perspective or getting new ideas, especially now during this, I don't even know what to call it anymore, pandemic, crisis, like craziness. I don't know. But during this time, like I feel like people are kind of grasping at straws to figure out like, how are they going to pivot, right? Like that's the word of the year that I absolutely hate. That is a strong word.
Yes.
Because people have like overused it and used it and overused it, right? And it's not about pivoting as much as it is about looking at the relationships that you already have. So before I really launched into building Net 2.0, I'm a relationship marketing strategist, which means, that's a nice fancy title, to basically say I help you connect with your current clients so you get more clients, period. Like that's it. And so with Net 2.0, who we attract, who our demographic is, are people who are solopreneurs or part of a sales team, but they're fairly new within, like, I would say the first 5 years of their business, and they still don't have a grasp of networking. Or maybe they've been in business for a long time and now they're finding themselves needing to network and they just don't have a clue. So people who just really are kind of new to the networking realm, who want a different taste of networking more than what they have had before, right? So as I said, we do focus on education. You get 30 minutes of content in every meeting, and it's uninterrupted, and you can discuss topics back and forth. So it's really about every single meeting you get a nugget of information that you can plug and play into your own business. And that's the magic of what we offer.
Now, do you interact with the individuals so that you know what they bring to the table and what they're looking for? How do you work that?
So I have leadership in place to talk with, people who are interested in becoming members, but I also have my information all over the place, and people are able to like grab my link and have meetings with me. And so I just talk with people to see like where they're at and immediately plug them into the community. It's wonderful if someone joins us and becomes a paying member, but I think it's even more wonderful when you're able to connect somebody to a relationship that they would have otherwise not had, that launches them further, whether that be in their business or whether that be self-development, personal development. I think that those two things go hand in hand, and we work on personal development as much as we work on business in Net 2.0.
I think that's a perfect blend, because people sometimes work so hard on their business that they leave their personal development out completely, or they dive into the personal development and the business gets left behind. And that's a good blend. That's such a good blend that you're doing, because they can take away so much more than just the business, just the business, just the business.
Right. Yeah. We talk about how stress hurts your health, and then how, vice versa, where if you're all up into, your personal development, then your business suffers too, because you're forgetting the connection aspect of your clients, your referral partners, if you're falling on your follow-up, then you're falling, period. Follow-up is the absolute effort of everybody's business. And if you are not good at it, you will fail.
Yeah, and follow up is imperative, absolutely imperative, but people don't want to do it. Have you noticed that? They just don't want to do it. They don't want to pick up the phone, or they don't want to do something where they're going to really have to interact or be expected to do something.
Right. And that's the other F word of your business, which is called fear.
Yes, exactly. I work with a lot of clients in that fear side of things, because sales, they're so afraid of rejection. They're afraid to ask them for the money because they don't feel like they're worthy of asking for the money. It's just, they're afraid that they'll lose friends and family, and they don't want to be salesy. And that's why I've gotten into the transformation treatment so much, is because there's so much of that out there. And now it's not like you can buddy up with somebody and spend a lot of time with them, because we can't be together. Now it's just the screen. We've got the screen. That's it.
Right. Right. And it's very hard to have that feeling, right? That connection and that vibe. It's one thing to find a commonality, find something that, you both enjoy, but there's just different, right? It's the je ne sais quoi pas, right? Like I don't know what the difference is, but when you're sitting down with somebody and you're sharing the smells of the environment and the noise of the coffee shop and giggling because there's a child in the corner giggling, and it's like, it's that moment that you connect with a person, that shared moment, shared understanding, the shared experience that goes along with how you're interacting and how you're getting to know each other on a different level. So yeah, we miss a lot of that. And I am such a hugger. Oh Lord.
Oh, me too. And all that's gone. All people I haven't seen forever. I want to hug them, but you can't do it. You just can't.
Well, sometimes you find people, and we have had some happy hours that have come up recently. And all I do is I'll stand there like this, and if someone comes up to me and, I'll just say, are you a hugger? Like, do you want to fist bump, elbow bump? Like, what do you want to do? And I got to say, like 9 times out of 10, the people that are these are people that are already in my network, right?
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they'll be like, oh girl, come over here. And then, that means like so much more now because we have less of it.
Yes. So much less of it, but at least you're married, so you have a lot of that. And people who aren't married don't have any of it, right? Or aren't with anybody. They don't have any of it, so they're really starving for it. And you can't get that, air hug doesn't work too well.
It sure doesn't. I do have a dog, a puggle, who is extremely cuddly. So if you're missing the whole cuddle aspect, get a puggle. They're like crazy into just being in your space.
What's a puggle? It's a pug and a something. Oh no, did I lose you? Oh, no, there we go. What's a puggle?
Oh, it's a cross between, it's like one of those hybrid dogs. It's a pug and a beagle mix.
Oh, and a beagle. I never would have put those two together. Oh my gosh.
So
wow.
Cool. Oh my gosh. If I sit down before my butt hits a chair or a couch, she's already in my lap, already right there.
I think there's a lot of people who have pets now that didn't have pets or didn't have time for pets before. And do you know that here we have a lot of dogs that have been running around, and we take care of them and take them to the vet and do all that. And we've been giving them to humane societies because they have huge lists of people that want them. Can you believe that? There's no dogs in the Humane Society.
Wow.
Amazing, right? Yeah. Absolutely amazing. And because everybody's so stringent on spay neuter kind of thing that there's no dogs and nobody can get any. So we bring them up from San Felipe and place them in the Humane Society so that they can give them out to the people that are waiting for them.
Oh my gosh, that's just awesome though, that all these little dogs, cats are going to have homes.
Homes, yeah, that's the important thing.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the, we got off topic. I want to go back to the networking. What do you think now? I mean, normally we sit down with somebody and we have an exchange to get to know people. When you come to a networking group virtually, how does one handle that?
So breakout rooms are amazing.
Yes.
So I would say if you have more than like 10 people on your Zoom call, breakout rooms are magic because you can then put 2 or 3 people in a room together and give them a topic to discuss or give them a question to answer. What is a childhood memory that's one of your fondest for Christmas? There it is. Something that people can really kind of like smile at, connect at. There's warm fuzzies in that talk. And then they can share. You can also give them questions like, what is the thing that you struggle with the most right now about your business? And people really open up. And so transparency it really does need to happen. And you need to find, that's the other thing, you really need to find a networking group where you feel welcomed as you are. Like if you feel like you have to put on a facade of being 100% professional and perfect, probably not the place for you. And because the minute you don't feel successful or the minute that you feel like you've screwed up you'll never want to go back to that group again because you're not going to find the support there. So you want to find a place where you can be transparent and come to the table and say, I know this, but I don't know this. I need help here. And have a room full of people willing to say, I'll help you, like whatever it is, And I love that about my network for sure. I mean, I stopped by the house of somebody because she had some perfume that I had purchased from her, and she's in my network. She's actually one of my leaders. And I said, I'll stop by your house because I want to see your new office. And so I walked in and she goes, where are you going next? I said, I'm going to go to Office Depot because I have some laminating to do for my son. So I have a 5-year-old who I'm homeschooling. And so I'm making him file folders. And she said, oh, no, you're not. And she pulled out a drawer. She pulled out her laminating machine, handed it to me, and then pulled out a whole pack of laminating sheets. And she goes, here, take it, use as much as you want. And I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah, we help each other. Let go. And so, and that's what I love about my network. And
yes.
I mean, I went to a happy hour 2 weeks ago. We had our first in-person happy hour since this thing started in March. And I met a member she's been a member since I think April. So through the whole mess, she's been a member. We had never met online or otherwise. I'd seen her in a few meetings, but she came up to me and she's like, oh my gosh, how can I help? How can I be more involved in building that 2.0? And now she's going to be a members relations coordinator. So she's going to be reaching out to members and doing spotlights and highlights. And, I love that. I love that people are just saying, how can we help? And I've fostered that, right? I've said, how can I help you? Who do you want to be connected to? And that's the thing. You know, don't worry about your own needs because they will be filled. You worry about the needs of others because at some point, someone's going to say, well, what do you need? Right?
I want to address something now that you've said that. I have a lot of people that come to me and they're people pleasers. Oh my gosh, they do everything they can to please everybody else. Okay. But then they get angry because they feel like they don't get it back. So let me just give you an example. My last client had a sister and she's done so much for the sister, but the sister never does anything for her. And I said to her, so tell me what good has happened to you recently. And she gave me a list of all these really beautiful things, wonderful things that have happened to her. And I said, that's the trade-off for being a people pleaser. You're never going to get it back from the person that you did it for. See, you know this. It's always going to come from elsewhere. So don't expect it to be from those people. Just know that you're going to get it back. And you probably got it before you ever gave. That's the big thing. But people don't see that. They want it from that one person. It has to come from that person because I've done it for that person. But it doesn't work that way.
No, and we're all wired differently.
Yes. Absolutely. And we all have things we can offer to someone that maybe we just can't offer to that person that did it for you. You follow what I'm saying? There's people that can offer different things. But if we look at it as a universal gift coming to us instead of just from one person, then all that anger goes away. It disappears completely.
Oh, for sure. And if, you should never keep tally anyway. You shouldn't keep score. If if you don't have the time, then don't give the time. If you don't have the money, then don't give the money. Because I learned that lesson a long time ago. And the only time that I give is when I know that I don't expect anything in return, right? And that's a great way to live. And it's true, it does come back in spades. Like my husband and I ran Net 2.0 myself. I built all the content every single week, and I ran it for free for a year and a half. And I had another gal help me during that time, but I was literally the only speaker, her and I, for a year and a half, right? That's a lot of content to be built. And I charged nothing for people to be there. And it came to a point where I was like, okay, either I'm going to build this out or I'm going to let it go and actually build my business like the way I'm supposed to be building it. And I just love connecting people so much that I couldn't let it go, right? And people stepped up and basically said, oh, I want to help you do this. So I'm like, all right, perfect. And where I'm going with that is, my husband and I want to build an addition. And there's a gas meter in the back of our house. And we looked at how much it would cost to change that gas meter out and put it to the front of the house. It was $20,000. Right. And I'm like, shoot, I'm not like that. That adds a lot to the addition. And so I was like, forget it. And this summer, we were walking in the back of the house and I could smell gas. And I'm like, what is going on? So I called the gas company. I said, no big deal. It's a little bit of gas. I can smell it in the air. I don't know what's coming from. Well, long story short, there was a little gas leak that was coming from out under the other addition before we got here. And that meter was leaking, right? And I was like, oh, Lord, how much is that going to cost us? Well, nothing. I'm like, what do you mean nothing? And they're like, well, it's not going to cost you anything because the house is so many years old. Even though this is, under an addition, it doesn't matter. We're going to just write it up and we'll just take care of it for you. Oh, by the way, we're going to have to move that gas meter from the back to the front of the house. Is that okay? Yes.
Talk about a blessing, right? That's an absolute blessing. Yes. Yeah. That is saved you $20,000. You can't beat that. That's just phenomenal.
Right. But you have to live with your eyes open.
Yes.
Things don't happen. You can't just discard that. Right. And I hate it when people, whether it's in my group or whether it's somebody else's group, I hate it when people say, oh, I didn't get anything out of that group. Okay. Well, what about so-and-so? What about them? Well, they're your best friend now. And haven't they helped you build your business? Well, yeah. Well, where'd you meet them? Well, there, but that doesn't count. Like, I didn't get any business out of it. You didn't get any business? How has your business grown because you know this person? Oh, well, but I know that person. But where did you find that person? You know what I mean? Like, can you live with your eyes open, please? Like, just step back and have a wide perspective. And I think I don't want to go off into a rabbit hole on this one, but I think, and this is only my opinion, don't give me no hate mail, but I think if politically we can step back and have a wider perspective, there would be less arguing. There would be less hatred. There would be a lot of less of everything. But nobody's willing to step back and build their perspective to be wider. Everybody is looking at things like this, unwilling to look at the other things around them because they don't want to change their opinion. They don't want to, because that's weak. That's weak, right? It's not weak to change your opinion based on evidence or fact or feeling even, right? But can you?
Well, plus we grow,
Right.
we mature and we grow. So we should be able to change an opinion.
Right. And you know what? Even if you don't change your opinion, that's okay too. But could you listen to somebody else's and understand where they're coming from? And you don't have to agree with them. You can agree to disagree, but you listened to why they think the way they think. And it's the same with networking. It's the same with networking. The only thing we call it networking, but quite honestly, it's building relationships. And that's what our entire life is about, is building relationships. And we can dwindle that down right from day one, right? We are called to love one another, period. How does that look to you? And that means in business, that means in family life, that means everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you
Mm-hmm.
loving people? And how does that look to you? And how often do you do it? Because when you do, you feel better.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about your groups, would you? I'm going to give you the floor and you tell us all about your groups, how they can get involved in your groups. And, I've got to tell you people now, because we're virtual, it really doesn't matter where the group is. It can be anywhere in the world and you can be a part of it, which is really pretty awesome because we used to just stay in our own little backyards and we'd see the same people at every networking group. And I had to move once to get into different networking groups because I was so tired of the same ones. And now we don't have to do that. All we have to do is get on a group that is somewhere outside of where we are. So talk to us about this, Melody, and what you offer to your group. Okay?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So Net 2.0 is a wonderful networking group based on education and motivation. And like I said, we not only focus on building your business, but building your personal perspectives and your self-development skills, things like that. And we have currently groups in Northern Virginia, but again, we're 100% virtual. So anybody can visit because we do have plans on launching in different areas. And so come on board. You can come see us. Go to www.net2.0.org. Actually, it's net20.org because you can't put a point in there. Or you can visit our Facebook group at Net 2.0 Markets. Those two places, you can find out a lot of information about us. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me on Facebook or even on our website, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. But you'll see your network is your net worth. So there you go. And the more relationships that you build, the better that you will be. And that's Net 2.0. We rise by lifting others.
And I love that. Your network is your net worth. I totally agree with her because it's who you rub elbows with nowadays that can open doors for you. It's just amazing how it happens. And once the doors start opening, it happens more and more regularly, but it's getting that momentum. And the best way to begin with that momentum is building those relationships in a networking group.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. Melody, thanks so much for being with me today. I so appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Anything you need, I am here for you, girl. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So everybody, I hope you got a lot out of what we talked about today because networking is imperative. Don't get lazy and just decide you don't want to go. It's fun also. I mean, and it may be hard for you to meet new people, but once you start meeting new people, they'll introduce you to more and you become a part of the group, a part of a community. So please don't sit at home on the couch and just not do anything. That's just not the way to go. It doesn't get your business anywhere. It doesn't help anybody else get their business anywhere either. And the best thing that you can do is join these communities. And like Melody said, you can be anywhere in the world. It doesn't really matter where you are. You can be anywhere in the world and participate. And that brings me to the Authors and Speakers Visibility Playground. Come and play with us. We'd love to have you come and play with us. And now we are doing a challenge a 5-day challenge, which I think you'll have fun with. It's for nonfiction authors, and it's all about how to take your $10 book to $1,000. And I'm going to show you how to make 10K in 1 year just on a program packaged with your book. And if you'd like to do that, I'm going to add the link here so that you can go down and join. We start on Monday, October 12th. And run for the 5 days. And it's so simple. It only takes you about $20, 20 moments or minutes a day to participate. And I think you'll really love it. So thanks for being with me today. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope you're having a fabulous, fabulous Friday and an even better weekend. See you next week.